Welcome to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC. It's your opportunity to learn more about your garden and your yard, about dealing with pests, and about taking care of the birds. You can be part of the show with your questions at 395-1450. That's 395-1450. And now, from DeBrine Seeds on Washington Avenue in Zeeland, here's the Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwsen.
And good morning, everyone. What a lovely day we have here. It's a winter day since it is still winter. That's what we have outside right now, folks. Might be a little more wintry. I heard the weather this morning on the TV, and they were talking about somehow getting some snow tomorrow, but I didn't hear that here. So maybe not. Who knows? But it is still winter, folks, so don't be surprised if we still do get some snow. Although I see, coming up, looks like it's going to be a good week. But there are some things that you can do outside and some things you probably shouldn't do outside yet. We'll start off with the phone lines are open, 616-395-1450. 395-1450 is the number with the area code 616 in front of that, folks. The soil temperature over the past week and a half has risen 1 degree. So we are now at 40 degrees. So it is still too cold to do most things. People want to put down crabgrass preventer. It's really not time to do that. If you put it down now, crabgrass preventer only lasts, if you do the normal crabgrass preventer, lasts 5 to 6 weeks. So in 5 to 6 weeks, you're going to have to put it down again. It just doesn't really make sense when you could just wait for a couple of weeks when the soil temperature is warmer. Crabgrass is not going to germinate until the soil temperature is 55 degrees. So we usually can wait until the soil temperature gets up to 50 and to safely put it down. I hate to have you, I put that down already. Well, you put it down too early. So don't put it down too early. It's not going to do a darn thing right now. There is Dimension that Greenview puts in their fertilizers, which is a much better crabgrass preventer. It's also a pre-emergent and a post-emergent. So if you don't put it on right at the right time, it will still catch the crabgrass up to four tillers. That's those little leaves when it first starts out. So it still can kill it at that stage. So I really wouldn't be in any hurry to put down crabgrass preventer. I would wait for a couple weeks, and they usually say Easter. That's probably going to be a good time. But I will keep an eye on the soil temperatures for you, but really not time to put down a crabgrass preventer yet. I know you're seeing some weeds start popping up, or I don't know if they're really weeds or if they're from last year, from last fall, that the fall annuals are out there right now. You want to, just like grass seed too, it's not going to germinate until the soil gets up to a certain temperature. So, putting it down now, if you can scratch it into the soil and get it buried up, an eighth of an inch buried, get the starter fertilizer on there, get it going. That's probably okay. If you're just going to throw it on top of the ground and let it go, it's probably not going to stay right where you put it. The wind, the rain is going to carry it somewhere, at the bottom of a hill, out to sea, wherever. So don't be surprised if I put grass seed down and nothing came up and nothing's there. It's because it got blown away or got washed away with the rain. Like yesterday's rain probably washed out a lot of grass seed. And we get a lot of rain during the spring. So wait until the soil is ready to go. If you don't want to waste your money. I know I've got time now. It's warm now. I want to do something. Probably not the best time to do it. it's just one of those things. I know I'm guilty of it too. There are things you can do though right now. You can prune your trees right now. That don't have buds on them, and I really haven't seen any trees with buds on them. So you still can trim those. You can trim your bushes, your the bushes that have lost their deciduous bushes. Oh, that's it, Jan. You can trim those right now. Don't trim any bushes like rhododendrons, azaleas, forsythia, because they've got their buds on them already for this spring's flowers. So you don't want to miss out on this year's flowers. I was looking at my rhododendrons and I thought one of them looked really sad last fall and hardly had any leaves on it. And right now it is full of leaves and full of blossoms. So yes, I think it came through. I kept it watered all winter. Maybe that was why, but it's looking pretty decent right now. Really not anything you can do for them. If you had some sort of protection over them, you could probably take that off right now, unless you hear of some storm coming up, some wind. Just do protect some things. It's just common sense. It's not, has to be done this week or this has to be done this week. It's just common sense, folks. Don't be, doing things out of order or, when you really don't need to do them. So that's my thoughts of the week. What you can be doing though is the starting some seeds inside. We have literally hundreds of people coming in all the time to get their flats, their seed starting soil, their seeds. A lot of people are out there starting seeds indoors to bring outside when it gets warm enough in May, hopefully. And the soil will be warm, the air will be warm, and everything will be hunky dory with the world. That would be perfect. But yes, if you want to do some tomatoes inside, if last year you couldn't find a certain variety of tomato plant, you might want to start by seeds this year. They aren't that horribly hard to do. If you can keep the soil warm as it's germinating with maybe a heat mat, and then once they're growing, put a light over them, they'll be just fine and they'll be very happy in your house. So, I start them in the kitchen. I have also started them in the basement. I have to put lights over it when they start to grow because it's not the sunniest of rooms downstairs because they've all got that stupid deck over top of it. But that's worked well for me. I didn't have really any problems with them. Look at how long it's going to take to germinate. Look at and really count back. Okay, if this only has to be, 4 weeks before I plant them outside, 4 weeks is going to be the first part of April. Maybe not a good thing for your warm weather plants, such as your tomatoes and peppers. I did that one year. I thought, I'm going to, my morning glories. I love morning glories. Always plant them every year. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to get a head start and start them in the house. But I didn't realize they had to have such warm soil to put them in later on. And they just kept growing and growing and growing. And pretty soon they were twined all around this rocking chair in the living room. And I had to cut them all back just to bring them outside. So it really made no sense for me to put those in those little things. I didn't really gain any time at all. So make sure you count back, if they're going to be ready in 4 weeks to put outside, but it's not going to be warm enough to put them outside for 8 weeks. Probably not a good time to put them in. Broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, they can go outside mid to end of April. They like a little cooler soil, a little cooler temperatures they can handle. So might want to do those the end of this month, put them in. That would be a fun thing to do also. There are certain things that do better putting them in the ground, not starting them as a transplant, because certain things just don't transplant well. anything that has a root on it that you eat the root. The radishes, carrots, rutabagas, turnips don't do well trying to transplant them. So don't even think about it. Once the soil is warm enough for them, put them in the soil, in the ground, just as they are. Um, and there are other things. Mustard, if you're going to put it outside, probably best just to put it in the ground when it's ready to go. Um, and corn and beans are two other things that really don't transplant well, and you don't need to. You've got plenty of time to do many different crops of beans during the summer, so there's no need to start them in a flat. So start them on Memorial Day, and you can keep going every 2 weeks during the season and plant more. So don't even think about that. Corn, again, you can plant that first part of May. As long as the soil is warm enough, depending on what variety of corn you've got. Some of the older ones, field corn and like an SU that really isn't well enhanced with anything. It's an older one. Can probably go in much earlier than some of the really hybrid SH2 SEs or one of those things. They're probably going to need a little warmer soil. And again, you still have plenty of time to get them all in. And for heaven's sakes, cucumbers, melons, squash really do better planted outside rather than trying to transplant them. They get something called transplant shock that really, it just does better to do them as seeds. You'll still get a crop, so don't worry about it. But they also need warmer soils. They're a bigger seed, they need warmer soils. And that's usually kind of a way you can tell. The bigger the seed, the warmer the soil they're going to need. So if you have a big seeded, like green Hubbard squash, it's going to need pretty warm temperatures for that thing to come out of the ground. So, keep that in mind. Don't be planting things and then I just know that in like 2 weeks, we're going to have all these people coming in. Well, I planted my fill in the blank and nothing has come up. And I looked and there's nothing there. Well, cold, wet soil will just make your seeds just disintegrate. It's just not a good thing. Not a good cold, wet temperatures, cold, wet soil does not encourage any sort of plant to grow, any sort of seed to germinate. So let's keep that in mind as we're doing things. Peas are going to be pretty soon that we put them in, but now Hayden's telling me I have to quit talking now. So I will. We'll come back to this subject once all of these messages are done. So that's it.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBrine Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwsen.
And hello, we are back. We're talking about starting seeds indoors, what needs to be started indoors, what should be waited until, actually it comes time to plant them outdoors. And remember, there's plenty of time here if you plant them at the correct time in the spring. Actually, Memorial Day is a good day to start most of the garden. You can put your tomato plants in, usually in the ground then, and you can put most of your stuff in. But peas are one thing that I usually do early. I usually do my peas in a raised bed, so I can do them quite early because that's a little bit warmer than the rest of the ground. But if you've got some warmer ground, drier ground, you can put some peas in. Usually they say, St. Patrick's Day. That's the middle of the month. Probably a good time to put your peas in. That might be fun. You could probably put some onions in at that time too. So that would be kind of fun to do. I think I will do my peas on the St. Patrick's Day. Yes, that is the 17th. Yes. So that is something you have to do, or around there. Um, you, I always, you go to DeBrian's and you look at all of the peas that are there. I am not one, I don't like to have to shell my peas out. That is not my idea of fun. I like to have either the flat potted ones that you do like with stir fries, or the snap peas where you can eat the pod plus the pea inside. I'll do those two, but I never remember which one I used the year before. And did I like that one? Did I not like that one? So if you're smart and you can save your package from last year and you go, I really like this one, I want to do that one again. Otherwise, you're going to look like me, like a bull in a china shop. I have not a clue. I just sit there and stare at them all, and I know them all by heart. I know what the good points are, what the bad points are. Just don't remember. I do know that Snack Hero, it's a lot more expensive than the other ones. It's an all-American selection. That is wonderful. I never got any of my Snack Hero peas in the house to cook because I sat there and ate them all outside as they were ripened. I got a lot of them too, and I ate a lot of them. I don't usually do that with all of my peas. I do like to bring them inside and cook them. But the Snack Heroes were excellent. Just raw outside. Excellent, excellent, excellent pea. That's a snap pea. So you can eat the pod and the pea inside. I do like for the flat potted ones. I do like just the plain old Oregon sugar. I know it does yield well. I know there's Oregon Giants, a more it's an improved variety of that, but I do like just the plain old Oregon Giant. I'm not a dwarf gray sugar person, even though the flowers are beautiful with that. That's just not me. So that's all I know. Don't know what ones I'm going to do yet this year. We will see, and we'll see what onions I put in. Sometimes I put the sets in. Sometimes I wait for the plants from Texas and get the large onions out of them. All kind of fun. They're coming up in onion plants will be here middle of April. The onion sets will be here in another 7 to 10 days. That's exciting when we get all that stuff in and start moving all the potatoes out to different stores all across the Midwest here. We're busy this time of year in the back. Greg is, I don't know how he does it. He's constantly putting up orders, and then I'll throw a whole bunch of internet orders at him, and then I'll throw a bunch of other orders at him, and he keeps it going. By Jiminy, he keeps it going. So, yeah, if you want to order some seeds online, you can do that. And you'll just put, if you want to pick them up, just put that on as you get through checkout, just put pick up in store, and I'll give you an email when they're ready to pick up. It's as easy as that. It's not going to be instantaneous right now because we're getting a lot of orders in all the time. So, yeah, you might want to, get your order in, sooner rather than later. And then you can pick them up when I email you, and I'm pretty good about that. We can get most orders out. If you're just going to do garden seed, we can get most out within 24 hours. So I consider that pretty decent with the amount of orders that we get in during the day, and we're still working in the store, etc. So yeah, we'll get you going. I've been trying desperately to put UPC codes on all of our labels for all of onions and potatoes so we can just scan those and check them out that way. It makes it so much easier to be able to have those barcodes on everything. And I'm trying to get them on there. I'm trying my hardest. So we'll see how that will go. I've been trying to get barcodes on everything that we do. It's been an adventure with this new point of sale thing and getting barcodes and making sure everything's got a barcode. And my goodness sakes, it is It is fun. Yes, we'll say that it is fun. It's been an adventure. And yeah, I'm not that quick on the on the thing. The guys are much quicker than I am because they do this constantly during the day. I'm only down there when they need help to check out something, so I'm a little bit slower down there. But hey, I get it done. So that works. And I see we've had a lot of people buying birdseed this morning. It's a birdseed type of day at DeBrine's. And Ken still has the what does he have on sale right now? He has oh, I got to think of this. He's got peanuts on sale. The peanut rejects are still on sale. Oh, the Finch mix is on sale. And I believe what other one is on sale? Oh, Mr. B's fruit and nut. How could I forget Mr. B's fruit and nut mix? A lot of people are picking that up because our spring birds really like a little bit of fruit. There's nuts in there. There's suet in that Mr. B's fruit and nut. Little bit of everything in there. The birds love it. I mean, all you got to do is add mealworms to it, and you got like this all around treat for the birds. So the Mr. B's fruit and nut mix is on sale. It's at a lower price than it's ever been before. When I had to make a sign for it, I thought he was kidding when he had the price on there. So obviously the cost of fruit went down or something, or maybe he got a good price on the mixed nuts or something, but it's gone down. So that's a fun one to do. It is fun we've got a lot of different birds coming through here right now. So it is fun to put down something that, maybe you don't generally feed. Maybe you always just use one of our mixes, which are fine, but maybe you want to spruce it up a little bit, get a few more birds there, adding some mealworms to the seed mix, or just putting a bowl of mealworms kind of near the feeder. You'd be surprised how many birds love those mealworms. And if you've got chickens, they love them also too. But it's that is a fun thing to do this time of year. See all the new migrants that are coming. The cedar waxwings are here. The red-winged blackbirds are here. The starlings are here, unfortunately. Those are the ones I'm seeing around my feeders the most. But there are a bunch of other ones that are here. So, it's just way too much fun to watch them by the feeders. They're normally not that close to the feeders, but there aren't that many insects out there right now, so they're coming to our feeders or around our feeders. So you get a good glimpse of them this time of year. Pretty soon the red or the grosbeaks will be here. They're the ones with the really bright fuchsia on their chest. They're absolutely gorgeous. They kind of have a body like a cardinal. They're in the same family, but they've got the big beak. They love to crack open nuts and crack open seeds. That's what that big beak is for. So, it's a good thing to, keep sunflower seeds out there that are in the shell. They love those things. They do make a mess. The shells get all over the place, but they do love them. So it's kind of fun to feed them that. Or you could just feed the cardinal mix, which just has the shelled sunflower and shelled safflower in it. They love both of those. So you might want to think about, putting something like that out for the birds that are going to come in pretty quick. The spring migrants are kind of a fun thing. It's always sad when you see them go in the winter, in the fall, but it's always fun to see them come back. A lot of people are telling us they have bluebirds already. So if you had a bluebird house that you left up during the winter to keep the little birds all warm, take it down right now, clean it out, and put it back up. The bluebirds are coming back, and they're looking for places to make a nest to impress their female. The males actually make two nests, so their mate gets a choice of which nest they want to go to. So hopefully it'll be in your box so you can watch it. My sister's got this bird feeder that has a camera on it, and it is so fun. When they get a bird at it, it downloads to her phone all the time. And I was looking at it while I went out for breakfast with her this week, and this bluebird was there, and he just looked at that camera. It was just, you got this really one-on-one with this bluebird face, or it was so cute. It just was looking. It wasn't eating anything, but it was just looking at the camera. So I don't know. Maybe it just wanted its picture taken or something. I'm not quite sure, but it was so fun. That feeder is really fun. You feel like you're sitting right next to the feeder and just looking at it, and a lot of times it will identify the birds for you. So that's kind of fun too. Okay, do we need to take a break now? Okay, we need to take a break. The news is on, and we will be back right after that.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from De Bruyne Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwsen.
And yes, the number to call is 616-395-1450. 616-395-1450 is the number to call. This is the time of year when the deer don't have anything to eat anymore. They're eating barks off trees. They're eating your arborvitaes. They're eating anything that might be in your landscape. They're going to eat it right now. So if you've got stuff that you really want to keep, we've got the new repellent, the EverGuard repellent, and it's best if you've always done liquid fence or always done animal stopper, always done one of the many things. It's good to vary it every once in a while. The EverGuard, I find it disgusting and pretty garlicky, but it really works, and you can put it on quite easily. And we do have a caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the Garden Hour.
Yes, good morning, Jan. How are you today?
I am well today.
Good. I have a question for you. We have a mourning dove that's got a nest in our Japanese maple, and there's not a lot of coverage there, but are the birds nesting already that they would be having little ones this early?
If they can have a couple of broods in a year, they will.
I just wondered about the cold.
Yeah. I always kind of worry about them too. That's why I always make sure I've got water and food out in my backyard for them. You might want to put out some nesting materials too. What
do you mean by nesting materials?
Well,
what would I do?
Well, what I do is when I comb the cat or the dog, I take all of the hair and I put that outside. They love that. They line their nests with that. That's nice and warm for them. Pieces of string, don't make them over 2 inches long, or yarn. You make it too long, then they catch the little bird's legs, and then they fall out of the nest and they hang there. We don't want that to happen. So
it looks like they've been in the nest already for a little while. So would they still add more to the nest?
Oh yeah, they'll still add more. They're always constantly adding. So
besides the cat hair, what else could I put out?
You can put little, little twigs. Some birds, like robins, actually use mud. I know.
Yeah, I know they do. They do a nice job.
They make a mess. But you could make some mud for them, have some mud for them. Don't put dryer lint out there, please. Don't do that.
Okay.
That's not, and don't use it's probably best to make sure if any string or yarn you're going to use has got a natural dye on it, and not something that I think a lot of them do nowadays. But don't put anything out there with it's got a synthetic type dye on it. We don't want that.
I will try that with probably what you just suggested. So because I know that the nest was not very big to begin with. So
yeah, and they keep adding to it all summer long. So you can.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Every time I put out pet hair, they're right on that stuff. They fight over that stuff.
Yeah, I bet they do.
I wish I'd come in and clean my floors, but hey, the pet hair doesn't.
That's true. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yep, you too. Yeah, I was going to mention that, putting out some nesting material for the poor little guys. You can, have the kids pick up the sticks in the yard. Little tiny twigs are good for them to pick up and use also. And again, mud is a good thing. again, no dryer land. I know that used to be the real big thing, is to put out your dryer land, but unfortunately, when that gets wet, it collapses, and you can make holes right in the nest. So we don't want that. So stick with the little pieces of string, some some hair, dog hair, pet hair, cat hair, whatever you've got. They will like that. It's nice and soft, and then is a lining. And again, the mud. The robins really do like that. So, and I know there's probably a bunch of other ones that use mud too. So if you if you got a spot in the backyard that's got some mud in it, you might want to add a little water to it every once in a while, so the birds can have some lining for their nests. I think it would be hard to build something with just your mouth, but they seem to do it every year. I guess they use their feet a little bit, but always kind of amazes me when I watch them when they put a nest near my house where I can really watch it all summer. It's kind of fun. Except I don't like it when the little house finches make a nest every year. Every year in my hanging baskets on my front porch. Every year I'm going to have one of my baskets that the birds are going to have a nest in. And every time I go to water it, they go flying out and start yelling at me. And then I'll look in there thinking I'm going to pull it out, and I'm not going to let them nest here anymore. And there's usually eggs in it by the time I see it. They're very fast at their little nests. So, yeah, that I get that every year. I did one year. I took plastic forks, and what I did is I put the plastic forks so the tines are sticking up. I put them all in my hanging basket where there wasn't any every once in a while you get a little bare spot on the top. I just put all those little forks going up, so there wasn't any bare area that was more than half an inch big. And you know what? Nobody made any nest in that thing all summer long. It looked stupid with forks sticking up. So this is one of those things you want to do with a very bushy type of hanging basket, so you don't see the forks. But it did work. I have to admit that's one thing that did work for me. So again, it works. And I'll tell you, the deer and the rabbits right now, the Everguard repellent, I have a friend of mine that puts it on her hostas. And I mean, she lives in the middle of the forest. And normally every year the hostas were just mowed right down. They haven't touched her hostas now for, I don't know, as long as she's been using Everguard. So that's kind of cool. So you might want to check out the Everguard repellent if you've got a problem with rabbits, deer, whatever. This is the one repellent you can put down when it's below freezing. It doesn't matter. So there are. It comes as a granule that you can put around your plants or as a spray. But again, you can put either down when it's that cold. The other ones, I don't think there's any of the other ones that say you can do that cold, but this is one you can. So we just got it in. I know they just got the spring order in of that. So we're all stocked up on it. So you might want to give the Everguard repellent a chance. I've got it at home on the ready for when my tulips come breaking through for good, when I allow them to, and to keep the rabbits away. My goodness, they seem to just sense. They're probably waiting for those tulips to come up. And the second they do, they're eating them. And once they eat them, they're pretty much done. So I'm not going to let that happen this year. So I am ready for them. Maybe I could just put some Everguard out in the area right now, keep them away, and maybe I'll have tulips this year. It'll be so strange to have tulips. It's usually the rabbits win over me every year, but they're not going to this year. I'm going to try something different. the mice this year have been so extraordinarily bad. And I don't know why. It's been a relatively mild winter. I mean, we had, 2 weeks of winter in January, and that was it. So I don't know why the mice are coming in everywhere yet. It just kind of baffles my mind, but they are. So if you're having a problem, I see all of you down at the Rodent Cafe in DeBrine's. You're all picking out all the stuff for rodents coming in or the rodents that are outside. I see you all the time picking them out. We've got so many different things for the rodents. The guys will be happy to show you all the stuff that we've got for your rodents, either inside or outside. Let's just be thankful that we still have this stuff right now. There is a chance that the FDA will take all of the stuff off the market in the next year. So let's just be thankful we've got it when we do. I'm always happy when I can grab something. I was reading this, I don't know, in some grower magazine at lunchtime, that we discontinued all the use of all of the chlorphosphates, like diazinon and Dursban, Lorsban. All of those have been banned. Can't use them. But now I was reading that there are some apple orchards and things like that that are crying to get it back. So might get some of those back for them, but that would be it. So it'd be kind of interesting to see what happens. Okay, Hayden's telling me time to take a break. We have some messages coming up, but I will be right back after that.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBrine Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwsen.
And we are back. The phone lines are open. 616-395-1450. 616-395-1450 is the number to call. Looks like we have got a caller right now. Good morning, caller. You're on the Garden Hour.
Good morning, Jan. This is Sarah, and I'm just encouraging people to cut forsythia, put it in a vase, and force it so you have those nice yellow, brilliant blooms on the counter in the kitchen or wherever.
That and your witch hazel. If you've got witch hazel, too, that works, too.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good idea. Thanks.
Good. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye. Yeah, that's a great idea. If you want some flowers in the house right now, if you're lucky enough to have a forsythia bush, cut down some branches and put them in a vase in the house with some water and watch those things open up, and you'll have some beautiful yellow flowers in the house. And it just looks like spring. It will make you even more happy to have the spring-like weather that we're having, and then having spring flowers inside. How much fun can that be? And it takes as much as cutting a branch off and putting it in water. Not hard to do. I know some people do that with pussy willows too, or again, the witch hazel will do that also. I want to remind people, if you're out in the backyard and you're out in the landscape or you're out close to the, a border with a wild area there, poison ivy is still bad to touch, even when it doesn't have, it's not green. So we have to be careful about the poison ivy plants out there. If you do see poison ivy, if you think it might be poison ivy, you can cut some off with gloves on and bring it into DeBrine's. We can identify it for you. But poison ivy, it can be, a plant all of its own, or it usually is a vine. It will go around a tree trunk or just over top of whatever is in your landscape beds. It always has 3 leaves. Never has 5 leaves or 2 leaves or 7 leaves. A lot of the things like that will have more, not always have 3 leaves. Poison ivy always has 3 leaves. And if you look at the 3 leaves, the 2 bottom leaves will come out right at the same point, and they've got short little stems on them. And the 3rd leaf will have a stem on it that's probably 3 times as long as the other two, and they will always look that way. They don't vary too much from that. It can be, they have a beautiful red color in the fall, but they always have 3 leaves. That is the thing. Don't put, if you think you have poison ivy and you just cutting off everything in the garden bed and just going to all throw it in the fire, don't put poison ivy in the fire. What happens is the smoke from that fire, if it gets in your lungs, you can get poison ivy in your lungs, and that is horrible. So don't be even thinking about that. So poison ivy is never to be burned. You can ball it up and put it in a bag and bring it out to the trash. That is one thing that is acceptable to put in the trash. So let's get that. Oh my goodness, let's get that out of there. Don't put it in your compost pile. It will grow in the compost pile. So just always make sure you put it in the trash. And Sarah just sent me a beautiful picture of her forsythia blooming in a vase. They are all in bloom right now on her kitchen counter. So it's so pretty to see that. It reminds me that spring isn't going to be too long from now. But we've got a long way to go. We've got the 3/4 of March and then all of April to really get out of our system, all the snow in the winter. So, don't count out that it's always going to be sunny right now. It may not be. So, you want to do that. You want to keep that in mind. What this time of year, I know you're only supposed to do your house plants, pot them up in the spring. I'm repotting mine right now. If your plants need to be up potted, your house plants, this would be a good time to do it. Just as they're kind of coming out of dormancy over the winter, you can put them in a new home. Just go up one size. If they're in a 6-inch pot, you want to put them in an 8-inch pot. You don't want to put them in a 12-inch pot because it will take forever for them to get growing up because the roots are going to take so long to kind of figure out the boundaries here. So make sure you only do one size up for the plants. I know it seems like, oh my goodness, this is never going to get to a big pot. Believe me, it will. I've got a lot of things that have slowly moved up during the course of years. And every spring I repot them. This is a good time before it gets too busy outside to be redoing your plants inside. Okay, that's all I'm going to preach about today. I am going to tell you I'll be back Tuesday morning at 7:35, 7:45, thereabouts, and date with Dan for the garden party. And then later on Tuesday morning between 10 and 11 on Talk of the Town with the Garden Hour with Gary. But I won't be back here next Saturday because the boys have, right? Yeah, okay, state championship for basketball or something. So I won't be back here next Saturday, but I will be back here the next Saturday after that. So until then, go green.
You've been listening to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com. If you wish to hear this or other programs hosted by the Master Gardener from De Bruyn Seeds in Zeeland, check out the podcast section of our website, WHTC.com, and listen or download for free. The Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show is a presentation of 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.